Guten Tag, hier ist Herr McCluskey. So today I'm going to give a little introduction on something called the Akkusativ. It's something that's very prevalent in German as we go through. So it's something that I want to give a little introduction to today. And this is something that you'll be able to go back and revisit if you are having difficulties with this concept. So we're going to go through and introduce this today. So in German, we know that we've created sentences where there's a noun when it's the subject, and it's called the nominative case. So that's just a fancier name to say when the noun, which is a person, place, or thing, is the subject of a sentence. So the subject is the person, place, or thing that is the doer or the performer of an action or a verb. So if we look at this example, so we have der Kuli, which is our noun, and if we just put it in the sentence, der Kuli ist schwarz, so it's the person, place, or thing that is performing the action of the verb, which is ist. So just like in English, in German, it is also possible to make sentences with a direct object. Now, so far, like I said, we have sentences that are that have the subject as a noun. The noun is a subject. But now, today, we're going to start looking at sentences where there are two nouns, so two people, places, or things in a sentence, and the direct object is there as well. So the direct object in a sentence is the receiver of an action. So the direct object is also a noun. So there will be two nouns in a sentence when we're using the accusative. And the direct object is the receiver of an action in that sentence. So accusative, again, just that fancy name for when we have two nouns in a sentence. So we have the nominative, when that noun is the subject or the doer of the verb. And then the accusative really answers the question to whom or for whom for the action. And you've been using these with people's names, with activities. Ich spiele Fußball. That would be a sentence that you use the accusative in, and you didn't even know it. So we know the definite articles in German, which again, that's a fancy name for the. So we have der, die, and das that we know already. But because of German, in the accusative, these articles change because we can't make anything too simple, right? So I want you to take a look at this chart. And there is some good news. So I want you to think about this for a second. Something should pop right out at you. And I want you to think about that. If you've noticed that in this chart, when we look at the nominative, which we have der, die, das, and die for plural again, and then we look at the accusative forms of the, we have den, die, das, and die. You'll notice that only the masculine form of the changes. So even if a sentence has the accusative, it only really matters to us if the direct object or the receiver of the action is masculine. If it would have that der form of the normally, it will change to den when it's the direct object. So this is going to seem really confusing, but it's going to make more sense once we put it with some examples. So like I said, only the masculine changes in the accusative. So we had our example sentence before where we had der Kuli, which we know is normally masculine. Then we have in the first sentence, so der Kuli ist schwarz. So there is only one object. So obviously Kuli is the subject. Then we have this sentence here where we do have the accusative. Ich habe den Kuli. So in this sentence, we've made ich our subject. Ich habe, I have. So I have is always going to need the Akkusativ. Okay? So ich habe, I have. Ich habe den Kuli. So you see, normally, Kuli would be der, but when we use it in a sentence and it's the direct object, we have to change that der to den. Okay? So let's sort of break this down in an English way. So the way that I always tell what the subject is and what the verb is, or what the verb is, what the subject is, and what the direct object is this way. So I find first the action. So in this case, in this sentence, it's to have. Then we think, who has something? Is it I or is it the pen? So when we ask that question, who is doing the having? It's ich. So the answer to that question is going to be our subject. And then I ask myself, I have. What do I have? The answer to that question is Kuli, the pen. I have. What do I have? The pen. So the pen in this sentence is the direct object. Okay? So we have that der, it changes to den. What I want you to do, I want you to pause the video for a second, and I actually want you to take down this chart somewhere, or this information somewhere, maybe even do a screen clipping of this chart, and I want you to put it in your OneNote, in your class notes, because this is going to help you on an activity, on the examples that we're going to do in this presentation, and it's going to help you in the activities that we'll do to follow. So I do want you to, at this time, take a moment, pause the video, jot this down on paper, in OneNote, wherever you think it's going to be the most helpful to you. Okay, so now that you have that written down, I want you to take a look at this example. You see, zum Beispiel. For example, we're going to do some examples here. And in these examples, I purposely gave you the gender of the object. Okay? So M is for masculine, F for feminine, N for neutrum, for neuter, and PL for plural. So you should be able to very easily use your chart to just sort of get in the swing of things here. Okay, so we have the sentence, ich habe, Bleistift. So, what form of the would I need for this sentence? If you said, ich habe den Bleistift, you're right. So remember, ich is the subject, I have. And what do I have? In this case, it's the pencil. And the pencil is der Bleistift normally, but because it's the Akkusativ, because it's the direct object, it becomes den. Let's try another one. Ich höre, Musik. Now, this one is accusative. It may not look like it, but it is, because the answer is ich höre die Musik. What's important to remember is that Musik is the direct object in the sentence. Even though the form of the does not change, it is the Akkusativ. So just keep that in mind. Ich höre die Musik. I hear. What do I hear? The music. Let's try another one. Ich kaufe, Fußball nicht. Remember, this is masculine. So let's think. The verb is kaufen, to buy. Who's doing the buying? I am, or the soccer ball? It would be ich. Ich kaufe. I am buying. And what am I buying? Which means the answer to that question, Fußball, is the Akkusativ. So if you said to complete the sentence, ich kaufe den Fußball nicht, you did it correctly. So, because Fußball is the direct object, or the Akkusativ in this sentence, it has to change from der to den. Try this one. Ich habe, Deutschbuch. So it is neuter, and das changes to das. Oh wait, no it doesn't. Because even though Deutschbuch is the accusative. I have the German book. Das doesn't change in the accusative. It stays the same. Sieht, Landkarte. If you said, sieht die Landkarte, you're right. No changes here, though it is the accusative. Ich habe, Rechner. I have the calculator. If you said, ich habe den Rechner, you're correct. Remember, because I have the calculator is receiving the action. So, it changes from der to den in this case. So I've taken away the help here. So du hast, Radiergummi. If you remembered back to 6th grade that it would be der Radiergummi, we know that because the Radiergummi, the eraser in this sentence, is masculine, that it changes to den. Du hast den Radiergummi. You have what? The eraser. Ich sehe, Ohr. Ich sehe die Ohr. Richtig. Ich habe, Computerspiel. Give this one a try. So it normally would be das Computerspiel, so it stays to be ich habe das Computerspiel. So that's it for our examples. You're going to go through now and likely work on some activities to help strengthen this. If you have any questions, see me individually, or we can talk about this as a whole class when we meet together next time. You can go back and rewatch this video to clarify or maybe do those examples again if you didn't really quite get it. But again, if you have questions, always ask. Auf Wiedersehen!